Howdy, guys, and welcome to Cliff Notes, and welcome to night number 84 of the overnight feed recaps for Big Brother season 26. All right, that's it. Our last Thursday night eviction. We're just a few days away. Are you ready for it? I certainly am, but we did have eviction last night. As expected, no huge surprise at all. We saw Rubina walk out the door, fourth place jury member. Yeah, from a fellow fourth placer, Rubina. I know how hard it is to come oh so close and just not quite make it to final three. But I feel, yeah, it. Rubina, congratulations to Rubina for making it to the final four. I probably wouldn't have planned on that. I wouldn't have predicted that based on early on, but she did have a lot of social game, and so congrats to Rubina for that. But now we have our final three: Chelsea, Mackenzie, and Cam, and we also have our winner for the first part of the final three-part HOH competition. Yes, indeed. We'll talk. I'm not going to lead you on forever. We'll talk about it in just a second. Feeds returned about 11:40 or so last night. A little bit of a surprise. I wasn't sure if feeds were going to come back at all. If they did, the first part of the HOH final competition is usually endurance. Usually it takes forever. Not so much last night. Feeds were back about 11:40 or so Big Brother time. We see Cam in the shower. He's no help. We don't know what happened with him. Well, I could guess, but no certainty there. Mackenzie covered in green goop. Everyone just not looking super happy. It was hard to read. No one wearing a key around their neck or anything like that. So tough to tell who had won until we get Chelsea in the bedroom, the rock bedroom, talking to the cameras as she tends to do, and telling us that she won. Yes, indeed. Chelsea is the winner of the first part of the three-part HOH competition. Chelsea has won, which means that Cam and Mackenzie will compete probably today. It sounds like today will be competing today in part two of the competition. Whoever wins today between Cam and Mackenzie will then face off against Chelsea Sunday night during the finale. The winner of that decides who they want to drag with them to the final two chairs. So important competitions here. And Chelsea won that thing. So congratulations to Chelsea on winning the first part of the competition and just getting that much closer to the grand title on Sunday night. So it sounds like the competition was indeed endurance. As they talked, it sounded like it involved hanging from a bar. At one point, Chelsea was trying to demonstrate hanging from a bar, similar to the wall competition, in that it sounds like they were having to stand on something while they're leaning out, holding onto a bar itself. Apparently, there were periods where the apparatus would lean back, so they weren't necessarily stressed out, and then where it would lean forward. At one point, Mackenzie said, "Yeah, we were hanging out there for like a minute," and she said, "I was so glad it went back up." So obviously, a little bit of an oscillation back and forth on this endurance competition. At one point, they referenced, and I think it was Mackenzie referenced season 20, and I think she said something about Tyler and his comp from season 20. Well, season 20 had, as part of the final HOH competition, the house guest hanging from hang gliders, rocket ships. I don't remember it. Hanging from a bar, like you would with a hang glider, leaning forward, pulling back. And they're saying it sounds like it was very much a similar type competition. Uh, Bit of a surprise, apparently, that not just that Chelsea won. I mean, I maybe would have picked Mackenzie as being the one for this, but Chelsea won. Mackenzie did not come in second place. She got beat by Cam. I don't know yet how close Cam was to Chelsea, but Mackenzie apparently was the first person out, which has got her not feeling great at all. All right, so we've got that going. So Chelsea again is the winner. Cam not feeling great, but he's used to not winning. Mackenzie not feeling great at all, not so used to not winning. All right, we do have, as they shower, find out that the Big Brother house still does not have reliable hot water. I think Mackenzie told Chelsea it's cycling between kind of warm and freezing cold, isn't it? I would have hated it. I would have been the most irritating, complaining house guest in a long time in the Big Brother house if I didn't have hot water and I was not a have not. Oh, can't stand cold showers. Oh, no, thank you at all. But that's what they had. So they're complaining about that a little bit, not as much as I would have, but still not cold, hot water in the house. I guess at this point, producers saying, y'all can toughen it out for another couple of days. We'll fix it during the off season. So yeah, no hot water in the house, but hey, they're final three, so you can't complain too much. All right, we did have at one point as we go into the feeds, Cam asking about did they save the food from earlier? And I think Chelsea said, "No, Mackenzie wanted to get rid of it." I assume, and they never really clarified, but I assume they may be talking about some fancy food that they probably got during the recap. Remember, after the live episode was over, tonight there's a recap show. And so I fully anticipate and think that they did the recap show, sit around, drink some more of the champagne we saw on the live show, eat some fancy food, and talk about, oh, remember when so-and-so did this and so did this, and we get to see the best stuff for the season this evening. So I assume that's the food they're talking about. That they ate some kind of fancy stuff earlier in the evening. All right, once Cam is in the diary room, we've got Chelsea and Mackenzie talking to each other. Chelsea's trying to encourage Mackenzie. She's not feeling great. Chelsea's saying, look, yeah, you'll have this in the bag today, tomorrow. It was yesterday when she said, she said, you'll have this next competition in the bag. I'm not worried about Mackenzie. It's just as we planned. It's fine. Mackenzie is saying that this competition was very much like the one from season 20 that I mentioned a second ago. That as soon as she walked out, she thought Cam could have this thing, being endurance. She's saying it was all about arm strength, and it seems like Cam should have had that. You would think, right? I mean, yeah, we haven't seen it yet, but I would have thought Cam stood a pretty good chance here as well. Was not the case. Mackenzie's saying that she's just embarrassed about how she did in the competition. Maybe it's embarrassment, not that she didn't win, but that she got beat by Cam. So yeah, she's just not feeling it right now. Mackenzie's saying it would have been embarrassing. It would be embarrassing to come this far in the game and then not win one of these final two and not pull her weight in the game itself. Chelsea continues to give her a pep talk, saying, you know, all that matters is that one of us wins tonight, one of us wins tomorrow, and we're all good. It doesn't matter who wins which one. You win tomorrow, and you'll get it, Mackenzie. So very much encouraging Mackenzie. Now, is she doing that because she wants to take Mackenzie to the final two? Or is she doing that because she would just as soon have Mackenzie make the next step, Cam not win anything? And that way, when Chelsea takes Cam to the final two, he has nothing on his resume to talk about, even a comp win at the very end. We'll see. There's still indecision. I personally do not know. If Mackenzie wins, I think she takes Chelsea, which I think is a mistake, but I think she does it. If Cam wins, I think he takes Chelsea over Mackenzie. If Chelsea wins, I don't know which way it goes. I just have a gut that she would take Cam, but she's talking to Mackenzie as though she wouldn't. Of course, she certainly wants Mackenzie to think that in case Mackenzie wins the next one and wins the final comp, and Chelsea suddenly is relying on Mackenzie for that. But yeah, she's giving Mackenzie quite the pep talk here. All right, Chelsea is shifting a little bit from the comp to the after Big Brother. She's saying, I can't wait for the chance for our families to hang out together. We are so similar. Our families are going to love each other. It's going to be so fantastic. Mackenzie likes hearing that. Mackenzie's saying the cheesy line of the entire season. They save it up for the very end. Chelsea, Mackenzie tells Chelsea, talking more about the comps and next few days. She says, look, Chelsea, I don't even want to win tomorrow's competition for me. I want to win tomorrow's competition for you. Yeah, is that play some Hallmark movie music in the background or something while you say that? Yeah, no, you're playing it for you, Mackenzie, because whether you realize it or not, if you don't win tomorrow, you very well could be going out the door as a third place. And I know you don't want that. But she's saying, yeah, I just want to win for you, Chelsea. It's not about me. It's all about you. All right, Chelsea says that apparently Derek, that we saw during the live show, Julie Chen mentioned Derek, that he would be hosting the recap and all of that. Put his picture up there. Not the best picture I've ever seen of Derek. He's hung around too many mugshots, in my opinion. But she mentioned Derek. I did not recall her mentioning Derek to the house guest inside the house. Well, apparently something was said because Chelsea says that she barely knew who Derek was, didn't really know who he was. Did Derek show up inside the house as part of this recap ceremony, or was he just a voiceover that they got to hear? Not sure how it was, but somehow they are aware that Derek is part of the the equation with this recap. And it sounds like I didn't know who he was when I saw him. So somehow they saw him. Maybe he's AI. Maybe he's showing up as an AI for the show or something. Don't really know. But she mentions that she just doesn't really know who Derek is. Well, if Chelsea wins, as many comparisons as we're already seeing with her and some past winners, she's going to know who Derek is before too long. All right, Chelsea is telling Cam that the instructions for the competition, she said the instructions, I assume it's for the competition, that the instructions came out in a fax machine. Hey, you don't see fax machines being used that often, do you? I guess Ainsley has screwed up something else, everything else. No more cyber electronic stuff going on. I guess the fax is still electronic, but y'all know what I mean. Apparently, old school fax machine gave them their instructions for the competition. All right, we've got Chelsea, and Chelsea got called to the DR, or is in the DR. Cam just came out. He spent an hour in the DR himself. Mackenzie dreading getting called. She says, I'm already tired. I don't want to have to go spend an hour or so in a diary room. That sounds horrific. I said, well, get ready because you're going to get called into it as well. Cameron, I've said that before. Cam's talking about the competitions, and he's telling Mackenzie, say, Thursday competitions just aren't my thing. Tomorrow's gonna be it. Tomorrow, no worries. I just don't do well on Thursdays. That's my krypton is Thursday nights. Any other day of the week, well, except for Saturdays, because that's when vetoes were, and we know he didn't do well on that either. But other than Thursdays and Saturdays, I'm good with these comps. So he's telling Mackenzie that. Well, that's probably not what Mackenzie wants to hear. Mackenzie wants to win tomorrow. She doesn't want Cam to win it. She does tell Chelsea at one point that she thinks that Cam maybe is playing harder here at the very end. And so she's really worried that it's not going to be a cakewalk for her to win this next competition. Cam does mention, and this isn't any better for Mackenzie either, Cam's saying that hopefully Mackenzie won't have to use her shoulder today. Apparently she hurt it in the competition, and maybe that's why she fell early. She had told Chelsea at one point, she said, I was trying to let one arm dangle, and maybe that's when she fell unexpected. That goop is really slippery stuff. But she says, I'm trying to let my arm dangle. And so maybe she hurt her shoulder, her arm somehow during the competition. Not so good, because typically the second part of the competition can involve building something, putting a puzzle together. During my season, it involved a harness and climbing up and down a wall with dates and events and things like that Nicole and Holly had to do. So there's a certain amount of physical activity that's still required. And so if she's got a hurt shoulder, and that may put a little bit of a disadvantage on Mackenzie, but he's mentioning that. So we do know she's hurting a little bit physically and mentally, perhaps. They have that conversation. Eventually, Cam calls the night, says, I'm going to bed. Mackenzie, Chelsea's still in the diary room. Mackenzie's expecting she'll get called, so not going to bed yet. So she's reading the Bible and basically just waiting for Chelsea to get out of DR. Eventually, then Chelsea gets out. Mackenzie gets pulled in fully as expected. Remember, they've got a show tonight to talk about, and they've got to get ready for Sunday's show as well. It's a lot of content that you got to get put together very quickly. So they're all doing that. So while Mackenzie's in the diary room finishing up the evening, Chelsea's in the kitchen, washing her hair in the kitchen. I guess the warm water, maybe the water's warmer in the kitchen, don't know, but washing her hair in the kitchen, cleaning up a little bit, things like that. Eventually, Mackenzie comes out. They're ready to call it a night, but they got to have one more conversation. Mackenzie's still worried about tomorrow and how everything is going to go. She says, I just don't want to be in a position of not controlling my own fate. I want to win this so that I still control it. We can see what happens afterwards. I'm worried that's not going to be the case. They're talking about the competition, and they keep talking about tomorrow's competition. I wasn't sure if it was going to be today, Friday, or tomorrow, Saturday. As much as they're talking about tomorrow, I think the second part of the competition will probably be today, which makes sense, because if you have the second part of the competition, now you know who the two people are. Whoever is not going to be competing the third leg of the competition knows it as soon as this second comp takes over. That gives them a little bit today and all day Saturday to be pitching and campaigning to the other two to please take me. Whoever wins, take me, and a little bit more of that going on. So, yeah, it looks like the competition will be today. They're talking about the competition. Mackenzie's hoping that it involves looking at something, some kind of a look at the picture, quickly make a selection, something like that. Chelsea's thinking it's going to be building something, maybe building something that somehow also involves days, names of competitions, things like that. I think Chelsea's on the right track. I think it's going to be something like that, a combination of a physical and a mental competition, which yeah, up in the air a little bit. We saw in the veto competition they showed on the show last night, it was close between Cam and Mackenzie. He does know his days and dates and all that. So if that's a component of this competition, it's no slam dunk for Mackenzie. We shall see. Chelsea does mention this conversation that Ainsley is powered off, hence the fax machine, I suppose. And they're trying to figure out, based on her powered off and now them having to destroy her, reboot, reformat, whatever, if they can figure out what that means in terms of the next competition. Yeah, who knows? I think it's better to go off of past seasons and figure out what people have done in the past. Chelsea is trying to ease Mackenzie's fears, saying, hey, look, worst case scenario, absolute worst case, Mackenzie, is that I have to beat Cam in the final three, the final competition, to determine who picks who to go to the final two. She says, worst case scenario, you don't win, Cam does. I then have to beat Cam. She says, I'm perfectly fine doing that. It should not be an issue. So we're good no matter what. Well, that's easy to say from Chelsea's standpoint. Mackenzie, not so much, because again, there's no guarantee that she gets taken if it comes down to Chelsea. And even if that was it, let's assume it is the worst case scenario, and Chelsea does decide to take Mackenzie to the final two. Well, that's one more resume point for Chelsea, being able to say, hey, the only reason Mackenzie is in this chair next to me is because I chose to take her with me. So as many comps as she won, when it came right down to it, I won the final comp. I picked who I wanted to sit down to. That is a strong, powerful argument that Mackenzie does not want to have to worry about. I think there's a good chance that Chelsea wins no matter what at this point in time. But even if that's not the case, if you got Chelsea and Mackenzie up there, Mackenzie, I think, to have any chance at all, really needs to win this next competition today, win the final competition, and then drag Chelsea to the final two. Now, slam dunk if she takes Cam, but I don't think she'll do that. If she takes Chelsea, still tough, but I think she needs to drag Chelsea to have any chance of beating Chelsea in a final two vote. I still don't know if that's enough, but we'll see. But Chelsea saying, yeah, worst case scenario. So we're still good. We're still golden, Mackenzie. Don't worry about it. Eventually, Mackenzie calls it a night. Not up in the HOH room with Chelsea. HOH room, I think, is shut down because I didn't see anyone up there. So I guess that part of the season's over. No more hanging out in bed upstairs. Mackenzie sleeping in the unicorn room by herself. Chelsea sleeping in the rock bedroom. Cam's in there as well. I'll say this. I know that Cam and Chelsea have used the rock bedroom forever, so there's nothing suspicious about that. But if I'm Mackenzie, I'm not letting those two sleep in a room together for the next night or two where they can maybe whisper and all that. I think I would make up any reason possible if I'm Mackenzie, say, hey, it's the three of us. I don't want to be all alone in a room. Can I sleep in here with y'all? I would be hanging on to those two as much as possible. Don't let Cam get in Chelsea's ear, or vice versa, I suppose. But she doesn't. We've got Mackenzie in bed in the unicorn room about 3 o'clock or so. Right after that, Chelsea in bed in the rock bedroom as well, around 3 o'clock or so. And that's it. So we've got Chelsea as our first winner today. Either Cam or Mackenzie will follow up as the winner of the second round. And whoever wins will then face off against Chelsea Sunday night. And then it's all over. Well, I guess the jury has to vote and all of that. And we'll see Tucker and Rubino. We'll see all these little stories and things like that. We'll find out America's favorite player. I'm not going to throw out any suggestions because y'all make y'all's own decision. But America's favorite player voting is open. But you can go out there, every email you have, you can cast 10 votes. I'm not going to tell you who I'm voting for, but I would love to see some of y'all post in the comments. Let me know who you are voting for. Are you going to split your votes, or are you going to send all 10 to one person or another? I'm curious to see how well viewers of Cliff Notes match up with whoever the eventual winner is. Find out, and I'll let y'all know. Guys, have a fantastic Friday. Enjoy the end of the week, and then this weekend we'll find out how it all ends up. Until then, guys, have a great one. I'll be back tomorrow to give you a recap on the second leg winner. We'll talk about repercussions at that point. Until then, SKD 143. Cheers, my friends. Bye.